Hi everyone, it's Shannon and welcome to today's video. So very excited because I got my very first PR package from Sigma Beauty and it is their brand new quads. So they are coming out with quads for the first time. So they are coming out with 6 quads. It is like a bakery theme or patisserie themed, which I absolutely love. I'm a huge fan of the Sigma Beauty eyeshadow formula. I have most of the palettes. I don't have the Angela Bright one. I just never got that one. I will end up picking it up at some point, but I just have so many palettes right now. I don't feel like I need it. And then I love their 9 pans. I did a ranking on their 9 pans on the go palettes, so I will put that up here and in the description box below. So a huge fan of these because I love them when I travel, and these are basically literally bite size, and that's kind of the theme, is that these are bite size of those. So if you kind of see they're like kind of just mini sizes of it. So I very excited about this. I already wore one of them. I got this on Friday. I wore one of them on Saturday night, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of go over them really quick, kind of show them. They go on sale on August 15th. They're going to be $19 a piece. I am now an affiliate with Sigma Beauty, so I'm very excited about that. I have been covering Sigma Beauty on my channel for a while, well before I was an affiliate, well before I had a discount code, but I do have a discount code now, which will save you 10%, and it is Shannon, just Shannon. So that will save you 10%, and using my affiliate link, and my code always helps me and helps my channel, and obviously put me on the radar to for Sigma Beauty, which is very exciting. So I was very happy to receive this PR package and all 6. So let's get into the quads. Okay, so as I stated, these are described as bite-sized eyeshadow quads. Indulge in this gorgeous collection of 4 shades eyeshadow palettes featuring buttery, soft pigments, and wearable hues in travel-friendly sizes. So they are Blueberry Parfait, which is cool, deep blues and everyday nudes. Tiramisu, which is rich, cool, neutral hues. Bonbon, which is gorgeous purple hues. Peach Pie, cozy neutrals and warm, soft peach hues. Caramel Apple, decadent greens and creamy neutrals. And then Creme Brûlée, which is warm metallic golds and rich matte browns. So the one I wore the other day was Caramel Apple. I love the earthy on the go palette, and we were going to Monster Jam. So you can see I've already used this. We were going to Monster Jam. I was wearing a green top, wore it. Perfect. It was great. And one of the things I love about these is I feel like these are kind of like, I won't say idiot proof, but beginner proof. And these are like the perfect quad. The eyeshadow look that I tend to go with is 2 mattes, 2 shimmers. That's kind of what I do. And I'll demonstrate that really quick today. I won't, it's kind of a tutorial, but it's kind of my go-to eyeshadow look, where I do a light matte as a transition shade. I do the darker matte and the outer corner, and to kind of deepen it. And then I go in on the lid with a dark shimmer or a medium shimmer. And then I go in on the brow bone and the inner corner with a light shimmer. That's kind of my go-to look. So the reason why I love these is that they are really travel friendly. They are exactly kind of the same size as the on the go, but if you're going on like a 3-night cruise, you could bring 3 of these, and doesn't take up a lot of space, and you've got 3 looks. So, and they're just like, you don't even have to think about it. You don't have to think like, which one is my transition shade? It's gonna be that one, because that's the only one. That's one of the reasons why I like quads, is that they're very easy. And I like that these are travel friendly. I used to love the Tom Ford quads. I actually got rid of them. I decluttered them all because they were so bulky, and there was so much extra space for those little, you know, eyeshadow, the brushes that you never really use, you just throw out. So I got rid of them, and these are perfect. Like if you're gonna have a quad, I think the purpose of a quad is that they're travel friendly. So I think these are great. So let's get into, now I gotta decide which one to wear, and do a quick tutorial, and then we'll get into swatches and comparisons. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna do my basic eyeshadow look that I kind of is my go-to. I sometimes branch out, but this is pretty much, if I'm doing my eyeshadow, this is kind of the look that I do, because it's just easy and it's pretty much all I know how to do. So I am gonna start with, I'm gonna do Creme Brûlée. That's the one, since I'm wearing kind of fall colors. I'm gonna do Creme Brûlée, and I'm gonna start with Nutty and go in as a transition shade, and I'm gonna be using my E25, and I'm just gonna go in all over the crease, and that's going to be my transition shade on both sides. So that is the transition shade, so the nutty shade, really pretty. I mean, this is just a really pretty warm. I love that gold. I'm very excited to try that gold. Next, I'm going to go in, I think it's Brittle. So Brittle is the deep dark brown. I'm going to be using my E45, which is the small tapered blending. And I'm just going to go in on the outer corner and then a little bit on the crease, just deepen it a little. Again, this is what I pretty much do with every single look. Okay, so there you can see, I just kind of go on the outside, I bring it in on the crease. I blend it as well as I can. I'm not the best at blending. I blend it as much as I can. So if you're looking for like good tutorials, I would say follow Ann Nook or Angela Bright. I think they're fantastic. I'm kind of like your basic, you know, this is how I do my eyeshadow and that's it. But I will say the good thing about these, it's the same quality Sigma formula. The mattes blend beautifully. They go on great. They're pigmented, no fallout. I already did my makeup, so there's no fallout. I think it's great. So that's one of the reasons why I really like Sigma formula, because the quality, the smaller the palette is, doesn't necessarily mean the quality is diminished. So the quality is consistent across the board. So far with the mattes, these are both great. So what I'm gonna do now is go in with this shimmer. Gonna go in with my finger and put this all over the lid. And then, oh, that's really pretty. So that's a really pretty gold. I mean, this gold is, wow. This is a really pretty gold. So I'm gonna put that, wow, it actually is prettier than I expected, than I thought in the pan. And then I'm just gonna, I mean, you can see how easy this is going on. So let's, I'll clean that up a little bit, but it's going on gorgeous. Okay, so then you can see the gold. I mean, this gold is, it's a really gorgeous, like this is a really pretty, I think you could make this a very neutral everyday and just go in with the 3 shades and then you add that gold to make it a little bit more, I mean, I would still wear this during the day, but maybe not everybody. So you can definitely, this one actually for a quad has a lot of versatility. So now I'm gonna go with the last shade, which is Custard, and I'm just gonna do that in the inner corner and brow bone. So just gonna go in there and put that there and then put it a little bit on the brow bone. So that you can see is my basic look. I am gonna go now, I will use, let's see, a pencil. This is the E30, and I'm gonna go in just to kind of line the bottom lash and go in. I'm gonna go in with the transition shade, which was Nutty, so it's not too dark. And I'm gonna finish up, clean it up a little bit, and put some mascara and come back. Okay, so I am back, and again, super easy. These are, I love quads for, you know, I love any quads for like you're in a hurry, you're running late, you know, you can get up and go. Great for vacation, you know, you can get a variety of looks, and each one is going to be different. So, but I will say there are a couple similarities with some of the on-the-go palettes, as well as there are some, if you have some of the larger palettes, you may not want to get like a certain one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swatch each of them, and then I'm also going to go in and do some comparisons to other palettes to see if you have this palette, then maybe you don't want this quad. Now, maybe you want it just because you want it in a nice compact formula or a nice compact quad to take on vacation, then that's obviously a choice. But if you have the colors and you don't want to duplicate, especially if it's in the on-the-go, maybe not. So we're gonna start here with Peach Pie. So let's do the swatches.
So here are the swatches of Peach Pie. I think this is a very, you know, good everyday palette. I don't think there's anything special about it, but I think it's one of those where you're gonna get a gorgeous everyday look and in an easy with the great Sigma formula.
Now looking at the on-the-goes, I thought of like 3. So here's Peach Pie. Fiery is definitely more warm, so it is not really comparable. So that one's out. Ritzy is a little bit more cool toned. So you can see here, it's, you know, kind of similar, but not really. The closest one is definitely going to be Spicy. So Spicy is one of my favorites. So I think that even though I haven't used this one, I think this is going to be one that I need a quick everyday look. This is going to be a great one. So I'm going to swatch the 4 shades that I think are the most comparable.
And I was right, Spicy is very similar, and there's 4 shades that are almost exact dupes, I guess you could say. The only thing is the shimmer shade, the lightest shimmer shade. That one is, I'm not sure if it's a matte or a satin. I think it's a matte. So, you know, that's the only real difference. But I think it's a great complementary palette. But if you have spicy, you probably don't need it. So the shades that I used for here. So this is Biscotti. This is Trist. This is Bootleg. And this is Moonshine from the Spicy on the Go palette.
Okay, so next up is going to be Bonbon, and Bonbon is one that is kind of mauve-y, I guess you would say. And let's look at the swatches. So here we have the swatches here. This one's swatched gorgeous. I'm really excited to try this one. I love mauve-y shades. This one's really pretty. So when in thinking about this one, I immediately thought of, there's like 3 purpley rosy palettes. So the first is Hazy, and if you look, like kind of sort of, but not really. There really are no shade dupes here. And that's Hazy. And this is my least favorite. This is the one I just don't recommend. For me personally, I just always seem to get a muddy look. So let's look at the next one is Rosy. And Rosy is definitely much more rosy as opposed to the mauve in Bonbon. And then the last one is Electric Peach, which is Electric Pink, which is one of the new ones, which I absolutely love. And this was one of my favorite. And again, I think this is a nice complementary, but no real dupes, nothing similar. So, but there is a bigger palette, and that is going to be New Mod. So I took a look at New Mod, and definitely some more similarities with New Mod and the Bonbon. So I'm going to swatch the closest shades right now. Okay, and here is, you have Bonbon on this side and New Mod on this side. Very, very close, very similar. Now, New Mod is obviously one of the larger ones, so it's not as travel friendly, even though I do travel with them quite a bit. The shades that I compared are Hot, let's see, Sophisticated, Street Style, and Artsy. So those are the shades, very comparable. But if you have this palette, you probably don't need Bonbon. But if you're looking for a travel size version of New Mod, this is it. Okay, next up is Caramel Apple. And Caramel Apple, I wore 2 nights ago and absolutely loved it. Very easy. I was a little nervous with this matte deep green, but it went on beautifully. Wore great. I just loved how it looked. I've been really into green eyeshadow lately, so loved this. Now I think Earthy was the top of my list for my ranking, if I remember correctly, so it wasn't surprised that I gravitated towards this one when I first got it. So that was the first one that I thought of, was Earthy, but it's actually pretty different. The tones are different. First of all, there is no deep matte green in Earthy, so you'll see that the deep matte is a chocolate brown or a brown, so there's no deep matte, and the green is definitely different. The shimmer may be similar, and the transition shade is a little deeper, so it's similar, but as far as the 2 bottom shades, those are very different. So great. I think it's a great complementary palette to Earthy, but definitely not a duplicate. Now Ivy was another one that I love, but again, the same thing. You have this deep, like turquoise type navy, I guess, but the green is different. Now these 2 green shimmers, I think, are the only 2. So I'm gonna swatch those 3 shades first, but let me actually, I forgot, I just realized I didn't swatch this one. So let me swatch this one first, and then we'll do the comparisons. And here are the swatches of Caramel Apple. I love these 2 greens. I think they're just so much fun and really pretty. So let me do the comparisons now. Okay, and here are 4 shades from Ivy. I did 2 of the shimmers. They're very different from the lightest one. The transition shade is a lot lighter than the one in Caramel Apple. There's no deep green. However, the shimmer is very similar. So I'm gonna swatch it side by side, and very, very similar to the one in Caramel Apple. So if you're getting it just for that shade and you have Ivy, then you probably don't need it because it's going to be very similar. However, I like the combination with the deep matte green, so then maybe you do want it. However, I did look, and this palette I have not even used yet. It has since been discontinued. I bought it at a recent sale, so I got it at a really great price when it was kind of being discontinued. It's untamed. I think this came out several years ago. So if you have this one, you can't get it anymore. Obviously mine is brand new, but you do have that deep green and you have this green, and I think it's the same. Yeah, they're both named Envy. So I did notice that. This one is called Camouflage, so it's definitely different than the one in Caramel Apple because that's tart. But definitely some similarities here. So I am going to swatch this one side by side, and let's see how it compares to Caramel Apple. Okay, so here is the Untamed. So this is Caramel Apple. This is the Untamed palette. And you can see the only real difference is that transition shade. The transition shade in Untamed is definitely cool tone, where this one's more warm, neutral brown. So the shades that I used are Spirit, Loyal, Camouflage, and Envy. But Camouflage and Envy, they're almost exact. So if you have Untamed and you don't want this just for travel purposes, you pretty much have these shades, because even this brown you probably have in another palette. Okay, so now we're moving on to the ones that are going to be a little bit harder to find, you know, comparisons to. I will say those three are the ones, Peach Pie, Bonbon, and Caramel Apple are the ones that have kind of like some dupable shades within the Sigma Beauty line. However, the next three, a little bit harder. So the first is going to be Blueberry Parfait, and this one I think is just gorgeous, and I thought this one was very unique. So you've got the 4 shades here, you've got this blue, but it's not like bright blue, it's a wearable blue, it's a blue that even I would wear. So let's do the swatches. Okay, here are the swatches of Blueberry Parfait, and this one I think is just absolutely gorgeous. I love this blue shimmer, which is I think blueberry. I'm sorry, that's chilled. Blueberry is this one. It's like a bluish gray. It's not black, but it's like a bluish dark gray. Yeah, like a dark gray with like a hint of blue. It's really, really pretty. This one is just gorgeous. I just think this one is so pretty. And honestly, looking at my collection, I really don't have anything like this. The only thing I think that might be similar that I haven't even opened yet is the Cookies and Cream from Glamlight, because it has some blues in there. So in that video, whenever I get around to opening that one, I'll compare this to that. Yeah, I really don't have anything. So this one is really unique. This one I'm very excited to dig into. I think this one's going to be great for like a nice evening like sultry look. But yeah, I don't have anything. Definitely not in the Sigma line. Okay, next up is going to be Tiramisu. And Tiramisu is very, very cool toned. This is kind of like the version of the mini glam, you know? There's not a lot in here, so let me swatch it first and then we'll do what I can find to compare, but there's not a lot. Okay, and here is Tiramisu, really pretty, but again, very basic, but cool toned. And I don't have a lot of cool toned quads, like even in my regular collection outside of Sigma. So I think this is very unique in the fact that it's cool toned, but it's still very basic. Okay, so now we'll compare. This is the Tiramisu. There really was no cool tone in the On The Go. So I kind of looked, there really wasn't any that I felt like had the On The Go. So that's definitely unique in the smaller size. In the Untamed, there's a couple shades. You've got the Spirit shade and Loyal shade, which I swatched before. Those are kind of both very similar. And then you have this Hustle shade here, which is also very similar. So let me actually just, I didn't swatch the Hustle, so let me swatch that one really quick right next to it. That's the Hustle shade next to the shimmer in Tiramisu, so very similar. So I think if you have Untamed, you have pretty much a couple of the shades, very similar shades. You can definitely get a similar look. You're just not going to have like this deep one, or you're going to have a much deeper one in the shade Wicked, which is much deeper. But these two shimmers are similar, you know, undertones a little bit different, but they're very similar. However, I did find another one that I thought was very similar and cool tone. So here is Tiramisu, and this is Magnifique, which was part of the holiday collection a couple years ago. So there it is. Now, it's not these 2 shades, so we'll just take those 2 shades, we'll cover them up. It's these 4 shades. And then obviously, if you have this, now this was a limited edition holiday collection, it's gone, you can't get it anymore. I don't think anymore. So, but let me show you the comparisons. And here we have it. Now these obviously have a little bit of a purple undertone, but they're very similar. The lightest shade is going to have like a little purple undertone. This one does too, but these 2 shades are very similar. So again, you can't get this palette anymore, but if you have it and maybe you don't wear, you know, cool tones very often, then maybe you can skip this one. However, I do also think that they do complement each other as well. And then this leads me to Creme Brûlée, which is the one I am wearing today. So just as a reminder, this is the shades that I'm wearing. Let's do the swatches. Okay, and here is Creme Brûlée, and I'm gonna be honest, this gold that's called caramelized is the showstopper. I mean, I think it's a gorgeous little quad, beautiful, but man, this one, I don't know if it shows up on camera, but in person, it's beautiful. So that's really the shade that I'm gonna be looking for, because I think all of these 3, you know, I think they're gorgeous, but I think you can find them other places, but this shade, man, this is it. So first, looking at the On The Go palettes, this is Creme Brûlée. So we have fiery, and that gold just doesn't, it's completely different. Then we have spicy, which doesn't, spicy doesn't have any sort of gold, so that's completely different. And then we have Ritzy, and Ritzy is a little bit more cool toned. You've got a gold, it's more copper, but again, it doesn't have that punch, so I'm not even going to swatch those. And then I'm looking at, let's see, Ambiance. So Ambiance has a couple shades, and you have this shade right here, this gold. So I'm going to swatch it next to the gold and see how it is. So here is the gold in Ambiance. It's called Sunflower. Different finish. It's still gorgeous, but it's really not going to, it's just a different finish. It's not going to be as impactful as the one in Creme Brûlée. And then I'm taking a look at the On Nook palette, and there's like 2 golds in here that I'm gonna swatch. And you definitely have you have a lot of transition shades, a lot of warm shades. This is a gorgeous palette. It's actually, I've used it quite a bit. It's a really very versatile palette. So, but let's go ahead and swatch. Now these again are going to be different finishes. Okay, so you'll see the 2 golds here. Very similar color. This is going to be Adorn in the On Nook palette, and then this is Worthy. Worthy has a little bit more of a copper undertone. This is a very similar shade. They're both sheerer. This one is just a little bit more impactful. However, if you have On Nook, you're going to get a similar shade. Now you really don't have this shade, but you probably have, the shades are not going to be as, these are more neutral and in On Nook, but not, and the On Nook is more warm. However, the impactful shade is this one right here, and you've got 2 similar shades in On Nook. However, I did find one that is, I won't say a dupe, but it's a very close match that you may have. It is no longer for sale. It was a limited edition one. So here is the Creme Brûlée, and this is Warm Wishes from last holiday. I think it was 2021. Really cute little 6-pan. They sell these just like the Magnifique. They sell these during holiday. They're limited edition. So here is the side-by-side comparison, and very similar. The shade that's probably not the closest is this lightest one, but let me show you the side-by-side comparisons. Okay, so here is Creme Brûlée. This is Warm Wishes. So you can see this one has more of a gold yellow undertone. This one's more champagne. This transition is a little bit lighter. This is flannel. And then the brown, though, is very similar. This one's probably a little bit more cool tone or neutral, but the golds are very similar. Now the gold in Warm Wishes was a little bit thinner, but still gorgeous. I think they're very, very similar. I'll swatch it right now side by side so you can kind of see there. Side by side, you can kind of see it's very, very close. So if you have Warm Wishes, then maybe save your money on Creme Brûlée because you know, it's not that much bigger. It's you know, different size, you know, different shape, but you're going to have a lot of these shades. Okay, so my final thoughts on these, I think they're great. I only did the comparison so that you can make an educated, purchase, whether, if you have something and you don't want duplicate shades, you're not purchasing the same shade. So that's the reason why, especially with the formula. Obviously, you're gonna find you might, at any time you swatch, other brands and stuff, you're gonna have shades that are gonna be duplicates. But I really wanted to focus on Sigma because this is the first time Sigma's coming out with quads. Now, personally, I think these are great because I think they're great size. I think they're great for travel, and that's the reason why I think they're worth it. If you're going to travel and you like the Sigma formula, I think they're worth it just for that purpose, for traveling. You can take all 6 and have them, and you're gonna have a different look for 6 nights, and it's not going to take up that much space, and it's not going to take, you don't really have to think about it. However, go back, if you only want to purchase 1 or 2, go back and compare, look at your collection and see like, well, I already have Warm Wishes, so I don't need to get Creme Brûlée, but I really want that blue in Blueberry Parfait. So if I didn't have any Sigma palettes, I would definitely get Creme Brûlée, Blueberry Parfait, and Caramel Apple. I think those are, to me, the most unique. But obviously, Caramel Apple I have Untamed, so it does kind of dupe it, but I like having it in this size, and it makes it very easy for me to see it. I probably would never have done that look in Untamed if it weren't like, even though the shades are the same, if that makes sense. But now I think the ones that are the most unique are probably Blueberry Parfait and probably Tiramisu. But Blueberry Parfait is definitely the most unique as far as the Sigma collection. And Tiramisu there's not a lot of cool tones. So I think there's not, and I think that's probably the one that you're not gonna have a lot of duplicates in your own collection. I think they're great. They're on sale August 15th, $19. My promo code Shannon will save you 10%. I do get it is an affiliate link, so it does help my channel and it helps me get PR. So this was the first time I've gotten PR from Sigma Beauty. So thank you very much. And thank you for those who have used my affiliate link. It helps me get opportunities like this. So I really appreciate it because I am a small channel. So with that, if you like this video, click like, click and subscribe. That way you get a notification every time I post a new video, and post in the comments below which one is your favorite. Bye everyone.